Hey everybody, I'm Michael and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to answer the question of how often am I hydrating? So I've got my starting deposit balance here, which is the amount that I have in my deposits. And I wanted to go through these different scenarios so you could really see what's going on with your drip hydration and how it all works. Yes, there are calculators out there, and there's a free calculator linked down below that does all this work for you, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand how it's actually working, and I wanted to cover it in a little bit more detail. So here are the three scenarios: hydrate every day, hydrate every other day, and hydrate once per week. Well, let's take a look really quick at my current tax log. I've been keeping track of all my hydrates, all my claims, all of my swaps. Now, the reason why I'm keeping track of all of my different transactions with Drip is so that I can know how much money I've spent in the form of these fees paid and the price of Drip at that time, and just everything that I did so that when taxes come for 2022, I'm not going to be crazy frustrated because, as I will say, when I did my taxes for 2021, it took me 35 hours just for my crypto portion because I didn't have a plan and I didn't have a structure. And I started to try to figure out how to actually combine all my taxes together. What I did was I eventually signed up for a website called Coinly, and I know that this video is after the deadline for paying your taxes, but if you are interested in Coinly for next year's taxes, what you can do is you can actually connect all of the different exchanges that you are using, and most of them have a pretty easy way to import all of your transactions. However, for me, I currently have a couple of different mining and rewards programs going on. I am mining the Helium token and I am getting the Planet Watch Planets tokens. And I wanted to keep track of those other ones because Coinly and CryptoTrader.tax, both, they don't have good ways of importing that data. So I'm trying to do it myself manually. Every single day it takes me about 10 seconds to add all this information in. But this is my schedule, and I'll link it down below if you want to see my current structure, the spreadsheet. But anyway, you're here for how often I am hydrating. So as you can see here on February, why am I going to say February? On April 11th, I started to do a hydrate every single day. So the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. And then today I woke up and thought, would it be smarter for me to actually hydrate only once per week? Would I somehow save in the amount of hydration fees, or would it come out to about the same as if I were to hydrate every single day? So that is the purpose of today's video, is to show you, is it worth it to hydrate once per day, once every other day, or once per week? And while the free calculator that I have that's linked down below does do all of this work for you, sometimes people like seeing it a little bit more visually on how the numbers actually work. So I have held off. I haven't actually hydrated today because I've been trying to make this video. So you can see that my balance is actually more than 1%. Everything that you need to get started with Drip is down in the YouTube description for you. But today I am going to be covering what plan makes sense to me. I'm not a financial advisor, don't know what I'm talking about, and as you can see when I go through all of these different scenarios, I really don't know how to do math very well. There's probably an easier way to do this, but I wanted to walk you through how it works in my brain, and you're welcome to choose any of these options. Whatever makes sense to you, that is the option that you should choose. So let's jump into it. So how does this work exactly? So what we're going to do here, I've got my starting balance of 173.916 drip tokens. I've listed that starting deposit right up here. So if we were to hydrate every single day, here's how you would do the calculation. So let's go ahead and calculate what I would get every 24 hours starting with the hydrate every day. So what we're going to do is this. I've got the 173.916. After 24 hours, I'm going to earn 1%, which comes out to this amount. So let's go ahead and paste that amount there. Now on the very first day, we're going to go ahead and hydrate. So for my calculation, I am going to subtract that 5% tax that you get when you go to hydrate. If you choose to withdraw the money and claim it, you're going to get charged a 10% tax. So it's more cost effective to hydrate more often than it is to claim. So here we have the 1% of our current starting balance, and then we're going to subtract the 5% fee. This 5% is not paid in BNB, it is paid in your available deposits in the form of the drip token. So if this is our starting balance here, this is 1% of the starting balance, and we're subtracting the 5% fee. We're going ahead and add that because we're going to hydrate, so we're going to take this amount here and add it back into our deposits balance. So let's go ahead and do that calculation. I'm going to go ahead and paste it into Google, and we're left with this new starting amount here. So this is our new starting amount here. This is not the starting amount anymore because we have just hydrated and added our earnings back into our deposits, and now we are left with 175.568202. So this is our new starting balance. So now we need to find out what 1% of the new starting balance is by doing that, and we get this number. So for day 2, we're going to get that new number, but we have to remember to subtract that 5%, and then we're going to add this new number back into our new deposits amount. Okay, so let's go ahead and add these numbers back together. Perfect. And this is our new starting balance. So on day 2, this is our new starting balance, not this amount and not this amount. So let's go ahead and take this amount here, and we are going to find out what 1% of that is, because that's what we get every 24 hours with Trip. And I'm typing all over the place. Let's go ahead and paste that number in, subtract the 5% tax for hydrating, and add it back into our previous amount. Hopefully this is starting to make sense on where I'm getting these numbers and how I'm doing all these calculations. So this is our new starting balance. So this is our new deposit balance. We went from 173.91 to 185.81. That's from hydrating every single day, including the 5% tax every single day that gets removed from our available balance. Now in the form of BNB, I've been keeping track of what I'm paying, and it's roughly been around 50 cents. You can see I've got 27 cents, 54, 63. It's probably around 50 cents. So I'm going to assume 50 cents every single time I go to hydrate. So all we have to do is multiply 50 cents by 7 days, and we are left with $3.50 in fees that we paid. So now with this total, we are going to take this new amount that we have in our deposits, and we are going to subtract what we started with, so you can see how much gain we actually got. So we are going to paste in this. This is the amount of drip that we earned by hydrating every single day for 1 week. So now let's come down here. I'm going to grab this number here. If we were to hydrate every other day, we are going to save in fees. We're going to save about $1.50 in fees. But I wanted to see the difference in the amount of drip that we actually earned, starting with this same amount of drip tokens in our deposits. So on the very first day, we are going to hydrate. The very first day, the calculation will be identical to this one because on the same day 1, we hydrated. So day 1 here, we are going to hydrate. Again, this amount here is our starting balance, and this right here is 1% of this amount. Then we subtract the 5% in tax that gets applied when we go to hydrate, but then we're adding back in our starting deposit balance, and we are left with 175.56. But on day 2, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to say do nothing. Just let the 1% grow from this day, which if we take a look at that, it's actually this number here, because this number here matches this number. This is 1% of this number. So we're going to do nothing, but we actually have this amount in our available balance. That amount is going to show right over here. Okay, so we're going to do nothing. Okay, what we are left with on day 3 when we go to hydrate is this available balance. This is the 1% from here. But then on day 3, we also have another 1% because this is still our starting balance. As you saw from hydrating every single day, our deposits went up. But when we choose to hydrate every other day, our balance doesn't change on day 2. It actually stays what it is on day 1. So we take the 1%, which is this amount, and we have to multiply it by 2. So let's do that with this calculation. But then we have to remember to remove that 5% fee, or that tax that's put on hydrates. And then lastly, we take our previous deposits balance, add it there so that we can find our new deposits balance. And we'll just add that into Google. We're left with this new amount. Oops, right there. So this is our new starting deposit balance. But on day 4, we do nothing. So all we're doing and collecting in our available balance is 1% of this amount. So with this method, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times that we hydrated. So if each hydration was 50 cents, all we have to do is multiply that by 4, and we are left with $2 in fees. Now the total, if we take this amount here and we subtract what we did when we, like our starting balance from here, just from checking these different scenarios, take this amount, we're going to subtract our starting balance, and we are left with this amount in drip tokens. So right off the bat, I want to show you one thing. If we were to hydrate every single day, we are left with 11.9 drip tokens that have gone into our deposits, and thus increasing the amount of drip tokens that we earn on that 1% basis. But if you hydrate every other day, it actually comes out to about 0.05 less drip tokens. Yes, you are saving $1.50 in fees, but you're coming out with less in your deposits, and then your deposits aren't growing as high. Okay, lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at hydrating once per week. To do that, we're going to start with our deposits right up here. So this is our starting amount right here. All we have to do is get 1% of that amount, which is this amount. So on the very first day, we're going to have this amount in our account. But then on the second day, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to do anything on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're only going to hydrate on day 7. So for these balances, our starting amount is that 173.916. So this is the number you need to keep in mind, because our deposits, as you saw in these other examples, kept going up. And then we had to take the 1% of these new balances to use in our calculations. Same goes for here. The amount went up, went up, went up, and went up. But when you choose to hydrate once per week, your deposits stay the same for the first 6 days. It's only on the 7th day that you add in all of the previous 1% every single day to get your new deposit amount. So for this number, we're going to say we got 1.73916, because that's 1% of this amount. So on day 2, all we're going to do is multiply this number by 2, because we're going to have one amount for this here and one amount for this here. You can think of it like this. We're adding this amount here, which is this, plus day 2's balance. Day 3 is going to be this plus this plus this. Day 4 is going to be this plus this plus this plus this. So for day 6, the calculation would be this times 6. And day 5, just to keep it consistent, would be this. But on day 7, so day 7, we have the 1.73916, multiply it by 7, but when we go to hydrate, because we're only hydrating once per day, we have to remove the 5% from this amount. So let's go ahead and add in our parentheses like this. And then we are going to take our starting balance, which is this is our deposit balance, and we're going to add that together, because we're going to hydrate. We're going to take what's available and put it into our deposits. And this is going to give us a new number. So let's go ahead and calculate that. Okay, just like that. So, as you can see, if we do the hydrating once per week, we're actually making a little bit less if we were to hydrate every other day. But then when we take every other day and we look at every single day of hydrating, we're actually making less than that. So if you want to build up your deposits balance faster, Hydrating every single day is going to be the answer. And after looking at all of these numbers, I am going to continue hydrating every single day because that is what makes sense to me. Now, what I'm about to tell you is just my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. You can continue hydrating even if you only have the 1.008 in your deposits. You can keep hydrating. But what'll happen is you'll end up spending more in the BNB transaction fees just to hydrate than you will in actually putting back into your deposits. So I wanted to cover the 5 drip token method because maybe 5 drip tokens as a starting deposit, maybe it would make sense for you to save on these hydration fees by only hydrating once per week. But maybe you want to build up your deposits faster, so you're going to hydrate every single day. I want to show the numbers to you so you have the options to choose for yourself. So on the very first day, if you choose to get that 1% of your 5 drip tokens, you're getting 0.05 in drip tokens. So you have this amount that's available to you. Now if you choose to hydrate and pay that 5% tax that's applied on all hydrates, and then you add back in the 5 drip tokens that you had to start, we add that to here, you're left with 5.0475. So now this is our starting deposit. And let me just add the fees back in here because you're going to be paying fees every single day if you choose to hydrate every single day. I'll hydrate every day. Okay, so this is our remaining balance, or this is our new deposit balance after we've gone and hydrated every single day. Now, from the previous examples, we know that we will be paying $3.50 in fees. So now let's go ahead and calculate the total that we received over the 7 days of hydrating. We're going to start with our new balance, which is 5.34, and we're going to subtract our starting balance of 5. And we're left with 0.34 drip tokens. So this is the amount, the difference between hydrating every single day versus hydrating once per week. You're getting this amount more by hydrating every single day. If we multiply this by the current price of drip, which is $35, we are left with 35 cents. So in this example, it really does not make sense to continue to hydrate and pay $3.50 over a week's time when you're only getting in around 35 cents in your deposits. Maybe this would make sense to say, you know what, I'm just going to let it hydrate once per week and I'm not going to pay these fees. Maybe hydrating once per week and paying 50 cents is still not a good option. Maybe if you're starting with only 5 drip tokens, maybe it makes sense to hydrate only once per month. It's up to you, but I don't like spending more than I'm receiving. So for me, if I had 5 drip tokens to start, which I do in some of my accounts, I am letting them go for a month straight, and then I'm going to hydrate after that 1 month time. I'm not hydrating every day. I'm not hydrating every single week. I'm not alternating. I am just letting the accounts run up. I hope this video shed some light on how hydrating works, and if I didn't clarify this, my hydrating schedule is going to stay at hydrating every single day on my main account only because I have 173 drip tokens in my deposits. If I had 5 or 10 drip tokens, I would probably do a once per month thing until my deposits reached about 100 drip tokens, and then from there I would start to hydrate every single day. Hopefully this video makes sense, and if it didn't and you're completely bored out of your mind, please let me know in the comments. Please don't just downvote it, but just let me know how I can improve these videos on what you want to know about drip. But ultimately, drip is an awesome way to get started, making 1% in daily revenue. It's been a phenomenal ride, and I continue looking forward to where it's going to be in the next couple of months and years. And hopefully we can all get out of this millionaires. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one, and I will see you guys in the next video.